not for the dead, but I've hearkened to the voice of the Lord, my God, and I've done according to all you've commanded me. So it's obedience. When we give that 10% to God, we are obeying Him, we are removing it from our house and giving it to God. Because a holy thing, if a holy thing stays inside your body, because your body is not holy, if you put a holy thing inside your body, that holiness will destroy that person. Because it's a powerful force. If you are not clean, you're not holy. That's why the Bible says that when you take communion, you make sure that your heart is clean. If your heart is not clean towards a fellow man, and you go and take communion, which is the body and blood of Christ, then you are eating judgment with your body. The Bible says that many have died. I told you a story of when I went to Chicago a few years ago, and I was arguing with this man, and we were supposed to take communion. It was Easter. And he told me that, okay, he said, now you have to take communion. You have to forgive me because you cannot take communion if you're angry with me. I said, oh yes, I agree. I must forgive you. Okay, I forgive you, let's forget it. And then I could go on and take the communion. This is because what you are eating is the body and the blood of Christ, and our heart must be clean before we do that. So having done this, having brought that holy thing out, given it to God, having not transgressed God's commandments, having not used it for any unholy use, then see what he said next. He said, now look down from your holy habitation from heaven and bless thy people celestial, and the land which you have given us as the swears unto our fathers, a land that flows with milk and honey. This is the celestial motto, in case you're not aware. This is our motto here, this verse. Deuteronomy 26, verse 15. You can write it down. Look down from heaven. This is what God gave the pastor founder. He says, look down when you pray. Having obeyed God's commandments, having brought out your tithes, then you can say, God, now I'm asking you, look down from your holy place in heaven and bless your people celestial. See? And the land which you gave us, this is this land. I've told you before, this is a promised land. This is a promised land. It's a promised land. That God bless that land, a land that flows with milk and honey. See? That is a promised land. But note that before you can say that, you would have obeyed the commandments, you would have paid your tithes. Then and only then can you ask God to look down and bless your people. You see? And fulfill his covenant. But if you are living a rebellious life, sinning against God, you can't say that. Because the promise is only for those who obey him, who don't transgress his commandments. They are the ones that can claim that promise. And he continues to say that this day the Lord your God has commanded you to do these statutes and judgments. So therefore keep them and do them with all your heart and all your soul. So you have vowed the Lord this day to be your God and to walk in his ways. There's nothing that impresses God more than somebody who obeys him. Many people think that they can bribe God and give a lot of money to God, build churches for God, and do all these things. No, you can be the poorest man on earth. If your life is very disciplined and obedient, you are a special person in God's sight. And you can be a millionaire and build 10 churches for God. But if your life is full of sinning and transgressions, God doesn't want anything to do with you. He's not impressed with all those things. He's not impressed with it. So, we need to know this.
He wants the best for everybody, but those who have live up to those standards, he still loves them.
Exactly, he loves them. God loves them.
People that hate him, he loves them so much. The ones that are just trying to destroy them, those are the people that he wants to help the most.
Absolutely correct. God loves every one of them, even the people who hate him. He loves them. He loves them. As God's love, we don't have to earn God's love.
But that makes them hate him.
Yeah, but he still loves them.
I know.
Even the people who crucified him, he still loved them. You see? He still loves them.
I think he crucifies himself.
Okay, all right. So, and the Lord above this, and to make you high above. So when you obey God's commandments, God will make us high above all nations. In praise, in name, in honor, and that we may be a holy people unto the Lord our God as he has spoken. So we can see the key to God's blessing, the key to God's presence is holiness and righteousness. Obeying God. That is it. If you can do that, you can be sure that God in turn will bless you, He will promote you, you'll be above all nations in praise and honor. That's what God likes most, is obedience to His commandment. Just like a father, for instance, if I have children, and one of the children obeys me all the time, doesn't do anything I say, he carries it out, even before I say he's done it, that child is the one that I would like most. But the one who's rebellious, who disobeys me, who doesn't do what I want, gives me a headache. That is not the one. But the one who obeys God is the one God is going to bless. So God has given us this picture that we need to obey Him in everything we do, especially concerning bringing the tithes. Why do we need to bring the tithe to God? It's not that God needs our tithes, He owns everything in the world, but we bring our tithes to show God that He is our source and that we appreciate what He has done for us. Simply that. It's not that God will want to eat your tithe or use it for something. No. God is the owner of the cattle of thousands of hills. He owns everything. But when you bring this portion to Him, you're saying, God, I'm saying that everything I have comes from you. This is why I'm giving this to you. This 10% is your portion. I'm doing this to acknowledge that you are the one that gave me this produce, this whatever you have. That's why God wants it. So, but when you refuse to give it, you are saying that, well, God, I'm the one that gave it myself. It's not you. Now, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Go to the book of Luke. Luke chapter 12. We'll see Jesus our Lord giving us this parable. Luke chapter 12. And He spake a parable unto them. A parable is a story that illustrates a point. So the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. In other words, had a great harvest. This man had a great harvest, okay? And he thought to himself, what shall I do, because I have no room where to store my fruits? He had such a great harvest, there was not enough room. All the rooms were used up. Such an abundant harvest. Okay? And he said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull down my barns, okay? My storage places, and build greater, and there I will bestow and keep all my fruits and my goods. You see, you can see what he's saying. He's saying that now that I have a huge harvest, I'm going to pull down this small space I have and build bigger ones where I can store those things. What is wrong with that statement? Because this happens to many people. Either they win. Do you know that 98% of those that win the lottery end up very poor? Do you know that? Before they die, 98% of them who win 10 million, 14 million, go and check them 10 years. 98% of them are extremely poor. And you wonder how come? He won 6 million jackpots in the lottery. He won 14 million just 3 years ago. But look at him today. He's sleeping on the streets. Because when they got that money, they never honored God with it. They started spending it anyhow, and before they knew it, boom, gone. Gone. Many people in this town who you see sleeping on the street, many of them are given money by government. 85,000, 100,000, especially those who are abused in the school system. They are given lots of money. But 2 months later, where's the money? They're back to square one, begging on the streets. But you received a check from the government 3 months ago. They gave you 85,000. What happened? Oh, I gave it to this person. I know this person. They can't account for it. See? So this story is what is illustrated here. So I'm going to build greater barns. Now he never said, out of this harvest, I have to give God a share. He didn't say that. Oh, or maybe I have to give 10% to the poor. Oh, I have to build a school for the needy. Oh, I have to give 10 scholarships to my people in my village. Oh, I have to build a road for them. Oh, I have to build a hospital for the sick. No. Everything, store it for himself. Selfishness.